Ukraine today filed a case against Russia in the UN's highest court, accusing Moscow of planning genocide. This as the mayor of Ukraine's capital of Kiev says the city is, quote, at the border of a humanitarian catastrophe. Meantime, Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered Russia's nuclear forces to be on high alert, citing, quote, aggressive statements from NATO and sanctions from the West. Lucas Tomlinson continues our Fox team coverage live from Lviv in western Ukraine. Lucas.
John, a week ago, the college students in this university town were probably relaxing, going out, some studying. Today, they're making bombs. A few hours ago, while wandering the streets here, I bumped into these college students, some baristas, some students, now making Molotov cocktails. And as you can see here from the imagery, larger jugs, most likely roadside bombs used to destroy potentially Russian armor, much like insurgents and terrorists over the last 20 years in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's what these Russian soldiers face who have invaded this country. Now, the UN says there's been over 365,000 refugees trying to flee this country. Here's one of them, John.
Literally almost impossible to find a home and to stay in Kiev. It wasn't possible.
Hundreds of thousands passing through here to get to Poland and others to Romania. In the past 24 hours, 120 Americans among them, according to U.S. officials. A sign of the desperation many feel right now since the Russian invasion. While it's notable the Russian tricolor flag has not been raised over any of the major cities of this country, the students I spoke to today are very nervous. They think it's only a matter of time, John. And as you saw with that 3-mile-long convoy outside Ukraine's capital, the Russians are reinforcing. And 2,000 Russian Marines now ashore near Mariupol in southeast Ukraine, moving in on the city. Ukrainians are putting up stiff resistance, though, and these reinforcements will pose a challenge, much like these Chechen fighters that are also heading in. Now, earlier, Ukrainian forces expelled a Russian special forces team from Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv, to the northeast. These are the imageries of the burning armored personnel carriers. Now, it's growing concern about the advancing Russian units that are causing many to flee. The roads are packed, as well as the trains. Only Ukrainian women and children are allowed to leave the country. All military-age males aged 18 to 60 forbidden from leaving the country because of President Zelensky's decree and mobilization for war. Now, Ukrainian leaders are feeling emboldened after the speech today by Germany's chancellor, promising to boost defense spending, something many in the U.S. had wanted for years. In fact, the last 3 U.S. presidents. But more importantly for the Ukrainians fighting on the ground today, Germany's promised to send 1,000 Javelin anti-tank missiles and 500 Stinger anti-aircraft missiles as well. And for the first time, the U.S. government is going to be sending Stinger anti-aircraft missiles. Of course, those were made famous back in the 80s in Afghanistan, which also were used to shoot down Russian gunships, the devastating effects. And we've seen those effects here on the battlefield, John, slowing the Russian advance. Day 4 of Putin's war here in Ukraine, not going nearly as well as Russian forces wanted. They wanted to decapitate the Ukrainian government and kill President Zelenskyy in a matter of hours. 4 days later, he's still standing. He's become an internet rock star. Now, in Berlin, over 100,000 people have come together outside the Brandenburg Gate. I don't need to discuss the significance of that with you, John, nor our audience. Now, here in Ukraine, back in western Ukraine, we have a curfew in effect. Nobody is on the street right now. It's been very quiet. Certainly, many students are at home anxious about whether they need to flee or not, John.
It is, as you point out, a university town. Can you give us an overall assessment of the mood?
Well, John, people are not only nervous and scared, but as you saw earlier with that video, they're taking up arms and they're making bombs, homemade bombs, very crude, using much of the same ingredients that insurgents and terrorists were using against American forces for the last 2 decades in Iraq and Afghanistan. The people here are putting up a fierce resistance. They're determined to fight. People from all corners. Students. I bumped into a group of Nigerian students here. They've come from all over. So this is home to one of the country's oldest universities, John. So people are very scared. And remember, it's just a few days ago before the invasion that many here doubted it. And even when you brought up the threat, the White House, the Pentagon assessments, people just rolled their eyes.
Well, the invasion is upon them. Let's hope they can repel it. Lucas Tomlinson, live in Lviv, Ukraine. Lucas, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.